Okay guys, so I have now seen Spider-Man No Way Home, which is obviously like the most hyped up movie of the year, and I can't wait to talk about it a little bit here in non-spoiler form. This is obviously directed by Jon Watts. So the question is, should you believe the hype? Is it worth it? Stick around to find out. You might be surprised by the answer. Okay, so Spider-Man No Way Home is the third Spider-Man film from director Jon Watts. It's also like the 26th or 7th movie, I think, in the MCU. And it's also the latest film in the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. I know that becomes confusing to a lot of people, but it kind of works as both. I think that you guys will really enjoy a lot of aspects of this movie. I'll just go ahead and say that right off the bat. If you want the fan service, it's there. If you guys want the epicness, it definitely has all that. This movie goes in directions I didn't expect, and also narratively it's phenomenal. I mean, it really is, and Jon Watts has really brought some really great direction to kind of illustrate that narrative in ways that I didn't expect, and there are just really amazing things about that. And I think you guys are going to really be surprised how much Jon Watts has almost been holding back on his last couple of Spider-Man movies. He really gave it his all in terms of a director, so I just want to give him most of the credit first and foremost. I think he just showed what he's really capable of here, and I think that's a lot of what makes this movie for me. All right, so let's quickly talk about the things that you know are already out there as far as characters go, things that you already know are coming to this film from the trailers. And we'll start with Green Goblin, and he is obviously played once again by Willem Dafoe. I mean it when I say this is my favorite Green Goblin performance from Willem. Obviously, we've only seen him one other time in 2002 Spider-Man, directed by Sam Raimi. I'm telling you guys, he tops himself here. He's amazing, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. Alfred Molina is back as Doc Ock. You guys already know that as well, and he's really, really good. I think you guys are going to really appreciate what he does. I'm not going to sit here and say that he was better than he's ever been like Willem, but I do think you guys are really going to like Alfred's work here, and he just fits into this movie so naturally well, and I really think he just brought a great performance as well. All right, so Jamie Foxx's Electro is his best version of Electro. Obviously, the last time we saw him was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, directed by Mark Webb, and he's really great here reprising his role, and I thought he did even better than the Electro in the past film, and I just loved him. I really did. I think he brought a lot of qualities to the film that enhanced the film, and I was very surprised by that. And I think you guys are going to be surprised with some of the things that they do with his character as well, and I can't wait till you see that. Sandman and Lizard, I actually really ended up digging what they did in this film. At first I wasn't too sure, but it did lead into something that I really enjoyed, and that's good, man. I mean, I think they really paid off. They're definitely not as strong of a presence as some of the other villains per se, but I like what they did with the characters still. I think that there was payoff with it, and it worked for what the story needed, and I think it just really helped the pacing of it, just to kind of keep a couple of these guys in the back burner a little bit more. I'm not going to say completely in the back burner, because there's definitely payoff with everybody in this movie. All the characters matter, and they do a good job balancing all these villains in one movie, and you guys are going to be surprised with sort of the roller coaster ride of their story. I think it's kind of different than you might be thinking it's going to be, so I can't wait till you see that. So let's talk about two other characters that are kind of on the side in this film. That's Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau. He's reprising his role, and Marisa Tomei's Aunt May, who we all know and love as well, and both of them do really good, strong work here. Actually, I was really surprised for a couple of the, you know, more side characters, which is expected here, that they actually brought as much as they could to it, and they actually really gave great performances as those characters. Possibly my favorite performances as both of those characters, and I think you guys will be really happy with that as well. Benedict Cumberbatch is reprising his role as Doctor Strange, and it actually might be my favorite performance from Benedict as Strange as well. I know that sounds surprising because Benedict Cumberbatch has obviously done some fantastic work as Doctor Strange, but I just enjoyed this performance so much more. I like the way that Doctor Strange elevated this film, and I liked the relationship between him and Peter in the film. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it too, because again, that's another thing that might be a little bit different than what you might be thinking in your mind. So I'm just excited for you guys to see that. So Jacob Batalon is back as Peter Parker's best friend Ned, and he is really good as Ned. He gave his best performance as Ned, and I thought he served this story better than he has served the stories in the past. Loved him so much in this, and what they did with that character was really actually surprising as well, and I loved it. And he's just great as Peter's friend. I mean, really, I didn't think I'd be walking out of this hyping up Jacob Batalon, as cool as he is, you know, in this film, but he really gave it his all. As you could tell, pretty much everybody else did. He's no exception to that. He really gave some really good performance in this film, so really loved everything he did here. So I don't need to tell you guys that Zendaya is a phenomenal actress, one of the best younger actresses we have working today. It's just a fact. It's easy to see that, but honestly, given her performances in the Spider-Man films, while I love the chemistry she has opposite Tom Holland, I really think here she just elevated it, and she really is one of the strongest key parts of the movie. This is her best performance as the character of MJ, and I think a lot of people are going to love her work here. I mean, she is actually one of the standouts 100%. She definitely stands out amongst a lot of the other actors, to be honest with you, and I love that about this. I love the relationship with her and Peter, and honestly, a lot of it just kind of moved me. You know, it really did. This is the most moving this relationship has been, and you guys will know what I'm talking about when you see the movie. I'm not quite sure a lot of people are prepared for how good Tom Holland is in this film as Spider-Man, though, which I know is like the main course everybody was wanting to know if he was going to deliver as Spider-Man in this movie. He is the best he has ever been as Spider-Man. Easily 100%, hands down, and I just don't know that everybody's going to be prepared for how great he actually is. There is a lot to take in from his performance. I think a lot of people are just going to look at Tom Holland's Spider-Man very differently after watching this movie, and for myself, I really do look at him now as the definitive Spider-Man, and that speaks volumes to how this movie plays out, and I think that's a really great thing for Tom. But there's so much hype surrounding this movie. This is said to be one of the best comic book movies of all time, and that's a lot of it is due to the fan service, and sometimes it's really easy to get swept up in all that, and there is definitely fan service here, guys, and a lot of surprises, a lot of things that are gonna, you know, have you guys standing up screaming. For me, I don't really judge a movie or grade a movie based on how much fan service it had, how exciting it had me for that. You know, I judge it on other merits, and for me, what I loved about No Way Home is that it actually takes it a step further from the fan service, and it just makes it something else completely. It's not just this fun fan service romp. It takes really bold choices, and it does incredible things and very emotionally moving things that, you know, you guys are probably not going to expect, but I really want you guys to be emotionally prepared for this movie, and so just make sure that you do go in emotionally prepared, because there's so much more to this movie than you guys are probably thinking, and this movie is going to surprise you, but not for the reasons you think, and I think you guys are going to be really happy with the way it's surprising. And so that's all I could really say about that. I don't want to give anything away, so just keep that in mind. But I'll say, the feeling I had at the end of this movie wasn't necessarily this like pumped up excitement, but mainly just kind of sitting there in silence, in kind of awe of this and what Jon Watts had done. So I don't know. It's really hard to judge this movie right now, only having seen it once. What I will say is, again, it is one of the most well-made and one of the most emotionally moving comic book films out there, and surprised me on so many levels. that it's hard not to give this movie so much credit. And there are a lot of scenes that you guys need to experience. There are a lot of things that you guys need to see in this movie. A lot of the sequences are just so phenomenal. You guys are just gonna love that, you know? And so, while again, this is gonna take a toll on you emotionally, and it definitely did me, and it's gonna make me just want to think and process, I think it's a must go because you guys need to go see it, you know? So I'm kind of in this pickle right now where I don't know how to judge it, because again, it's easy to get swept up in the fan service of it all. On the other hand, it's a very emotionally moving movie. And so I just don't know where to put it, where to rank it, where to judge it. I think it is hands down my favorite Spider-Man movie, though, for a lot of different reasons. But it's hard for me to tell you guys how you're going to feel walking out of it. I can just tell you the experience that I had. I also want to give credit to Michael Giacchino's score. He just really knocked it out of the park. I think this is the best he's done with a Spider-Man movie, and might end up going down in history as probably his most iconic score. I mean, he really did have a great score here, and I loved it, and I thought the music just really made the movie work a lot more than I thought it would. I mean, you know, he's always been a great composer, but like here, he outdid himself. So I mean, it just was really awesome to hear. It's going to be difficult really to just dance around spoilers for this again. So, you know, for me, just I need to think about this movie to really, you know, give it like a full grade and where I rank it. And, you know, I'll be back with a spoiler review at some point to do that. But for right now, I'm just kind of at a place where I'm feeling just, I don't know how to feel about it. You know, it's just very interesting. It's hard for me to really process it, you know, so fresh out of it. This movie is a lot to process. There are a lot of story points you need to think about before you can really judge it as a comic book film, but it's quite the experience. So for that reason, I am going to give this film a must go. I hope you guys do go check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below when you do. If you guys could, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit the bell for notifications. And I've been Dom Martino, and that'll be it for today. All right, later.